In the Spanish conversation of lesson number 6, we're going to be learning how to tell the time in Spanish. Focus your attention on the clock on this slide. So take a few seconds to familiarize with it, with the color coding, as well as with the information that you can find inside the clock as well as outside the clock. At the top of that infographic, we've got 2 questions. So these 2 Spanish questions allow you to find out about the time of the day in Spanish. We have ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? Or we can also ask ¿Tienes hora? Have you got the time? ¿Qué hora es? Or ¿Tienes hora? So with these 2 questions, when you ask, you will extract that information from the person who is listening. So let's move on to focus on the clock there on the left-hand side and start from the top. So inside the clock, we've got the times of the day. So we have learned the numbers in Spanish. In Spanish, when we talk about the time, we use the ordinal numbers and we use the analog clock. So what that means is that we only need to know the numbers from 1 to 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 y 12. Now, to tell the time, because we are describing the time of the day, we need the verb ser. So we need the verb ser in the singular form when we're talking about 1 in the morning or 1 in the evening. And for the rest of the times, because they are plural, we would be using the verb son. The hours in Spanish are feminine, las horas. And as such, to say it's 1, we would say es la una. Or to say it's 2, son las dos. And so on and so forth, all the way until 12. So to say it's 12, son las 12. Now let's see how we can add more information to that. Outside of the clocks, you can see a few expressions in there, a few more words in there, and some of them are highlighted in different colors. So to say that it's 1 o'clock, for example, we would use the word for o'clock en punto. It's 1 o'clock, es la una en punto. Or it's 4 o'clock, son las 4 en punto. Then on the right-hand side of the clock, we've got the positive side. So we need to add a minute to the hour. And for that, we would use also the cardinal numbers for 5 past, 10 past, 20 past, and 25 past. So 5, 10, 20 y 25. And we also need to add the word y to add that information to the hour. So for example, to say that it's 5 past 1, es la 1:05. Or if you want to say it's 20 past 8, son las 8:20. There on the right-hand side, we also have another word highlighted in green. And that's to say when we want to talk about the 15 minutes past the hour. So we wouldn't use the number 15, 15. We use the word cuarto. So to say that is 5:15, for example, we would say son las 5:15. Or if you wanted to say that is 7:15, for example, we would say son las 7:15. Down the middle as well, we've got half. So it's highlighted in red because we use the word, we don't use 30 minutes or anything like that in Spanish. We use the word media because the hours, again, they are feminine. So to say, for example, is 1:30, es la 1:30. Or to say that it's 9:30 or 9:30, son las 9:30. On the left-hand side of the clock, we have the same words for the minutes. So we have 5, 10, 20, and 25 for 5, 10, 20, and 25. But instead of adding the minutes, now what we need to do is subtract the minutes from the hour, or subtract the minutes to go to the hour, to the full hour. So instead of the word y, we use the word menos, which literally means minus. So it will be -5, -10. That will be your literal translation. So to say, for example, that is 20 to 1, we would say es la 1:20. Or to say that is 25 to 7, we would say son las 7:25. And notice the highlighted word in green. So we use still cuarto, but instead of y, we would say menos. So to say, for example, that is 10 to, it's 9:45, we would say son las 10:45. On the right-hand side of the slide, we are going to be learning about the most colloquial ways in which a Spanish person would talk about the section of the day. So, for example, is it 8 in the morning we're talking about, or is it 8 in the evening that we're talking about? So, for example, to say it's 8 in the morning or it's 8 a.m., a Spanish person would say son las 8 de la mañana. So we do not use AM or PM. We use the expression de la mañana. And the same for the afternoon and the same for the evening and night. We would say if it's 1 p.m., son la... On the right-hand side of the slide, we're going to be learning about the expressions that we use to talk about the part of the day that we are describing. So is it 8 in the morning or is it 3 in the afternoon? So morning, afternoon, and evening. So, for example, to say it's 8 in the morning, we would say son las 8 de la mañana. And to say that it's 1 p.m., for example, in Spanish, we would say es la 1 de la tarde. So we don't use the abbreviations AM or PM in Spanish. We need to use the expressions de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. At the bottom of this slide, you will see 3 questions. And you will notice that at the beginning of the question, we have the letter, which is a preposition, the preposition a. We need a preposition when we are using a prepositional verb. So, for example, if we just want to know what time of the day it is, we do not need a prepositional verb. And as such, we just ask, ¿qué hora es? We're just describing, so what time is it? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 8 de la mañana. However, if we want to find out at what time something is happening, or at what time something starts, or at what time something finishes, we are going to be using a prepositional verb. And that preposition is going to be a. And that's the reason we have that preposition in there, and we place it at the beginning of the question. So, for example, to say in Spanish, at what time is the class? The class is at 10:15 in the morning. Now we have all that vocabulary and all that information to form that question and the answer. ¿A qué hora es la clase? La clase es a las 10:15 de la mañana. Or at what time does the film start? The film starts at 6:30 in the evening. ¿A qué hora empieza la película? La película empieza a las 6:30 de la tarde. For more vocabulary, expressions, and questions that we use in Spanish to talk about date and time, you can go to sections 13 and 14 of your Easy Spanish Phrase ebook, which is included in this course with the rest of the materials.